Hey, 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 happy Monday and welcome to another Monday Night Live with me, Dr. Nicole Roberts Jones. A time I connect with you every Monday, 7 p.m. EST, to really give you insight that will help you align biblical principles with your entrepreneurial journey. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in business for years, as you're coming in, tell me hello. Hey, Carol, I'm excited you're here as well. And listen, whether you hear live or you come back and watch a replay, here's my couple of requests for you. I pour into you at no cost to you. Well, it does cost you something, cost you a little time. But all I'm asking you to do is one, if I say something that resonates with you, I want to see it in the comments. If you have questions as I share, ask away. And third, will you share this with your community, with your network? You never know who around you might need it. Those of you in Facebook and LinkedIn, there's a share button. Those of you in YouTube, you have to like take the share, the URL in the share portion, and then share it with your network, probably via text. All right. So tonight is part 9. Yes, I know it's been a long series in a 10-part series that I've been doing called Master the Marketplace, doing business as God intended. And I wonder if you really realize that God put you here on purpose for purpose. And so I'm walking you through what I would say are the 10 commandments for doing business the way God intended. And really, if you were here in episode number 1, you know that I'm talking to you about the atmosphere your business sits in, right? So, by the way, if you've missed any episodes, you see my YouTube channel there at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to encourage you to go back and watch all 8 of the parts you have missed. Because the way I teach, one builds on the next. You're going to hear me make reference to a few of them tonight. NRJnetwork.com is where you go. So, here's our quick review. Number 1 was you must say yes to your calling. God gives you a gift. He doesn't. Listen, he gives us free will. He doesn't make us say yes to it. He allows us to live in choice. Number 2, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. When you're at a place that you're comfortable, guess what? God has another level for you to grow to. So if you're in a comfortable place, yeah, you're settling. And I don't serve a small God, so why would you? Number 3 is you must be a servant leader. I broke down what that looks like, what that means for you in your business. Number 4, you must have a singular focus. I see so many people, by the way, mess up here, doing too much, doing too many things, and they wonder why their business is failing. Number 5, you must draft a winning team. Even if you're just starting out, you do need a team to grow your business. Now, I'm not saying you need a full-time team, y'all. But I am saying that you need help, you need support. On the same token, number 6, which was a play on the other end of this, you never want to underestimate your competition. Oh, your competition will teach you some things if you allow the space to learn. Number 7, you must operate in integrity. And then finally, last week I talked about you must own your value. Or maybe I should say you should understand that God created you to be a Bentley and not a Pinto. So again, if you missed any of the first 8, go and watch it. Again, it's scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, nrjnetwork.com. So that leads us to our conversation for tonight, which is now part 9 of this series, which is choose impact over income. Trying to push it on the screen. There it goes. Choose impact over income. And I really want you to understand this. Now, here's our foundational Bible verse for this one. Hey, Sabrina, welcome, welcome. And by the way, you guys write where you're from as you say hello. So here's our foundational Bible verse. Jeremiah 17:8. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river, and will not fear when he comes, but its leaf will be green, and will not be anxious in the year of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit. I know some of you guys are like, what does all of that mean? Now, let me break it down a little bit for you. Where he shall be like a tree planted by the water. So, listen, when you're focused on impact, what you're doing is focus on doing business the way God intended. Now, of course, if you're going to have a successful business, you need to generate income. But can I tell you that your income will be even greater when you focus on impact over income? So this Bible verse goes on to say, which spreads out its roots by the river. Now think about what a root needs. It needs water. So again, that impact, the reason I'm doing this series is God wants to bless you. He wants you to be a blessing. So he wants to bless you so that you can be a blessing. Just about every story in the Bible is showing us that God blesses others to be a blessing. But if you're so focused on income, this is why that Bible verse, and I should have written this down, money is the root of all evil. That's not the Bible verse. It's the love of money is the root of all evil because the focus is on money and not on impact. Difference. You got to understand where your focus lies. Are you really looking to make the impact God created you to make in this world? Is that why you want to start or grow your business? Are you just trying to make more money? Hello, somebody. Going back into, well, first of all, you guys know I like definitions. So the word impact means having a strong effect on something or someone. It means influence. So think about when you start a business, isn't it to serve a group of people that need you? By the way, to serve a group of people is the one of the definitions of ministry in the dictionary. So if you're created to serve a group of people, when you do more of it, you're going to create more income. So if you focus on impact and multiplying the fruit God put inside of you, income will come. I heard someone say once, God's will, God's bill. So God's going to give you money. He knows you need money to do the work he's called you to do, but you got to focus on the impact, not on the income difference, right? So with that said, in episode number 7, I read this story. I'm going to read it again. I see more people joining. So, by the way, if you guys have questions, please pop them in and say hello as you pop in. Okay. So, I read this Bible verse in episode number 7. The episode number 7, again, was you must operate in integrity. But I want you to really understand this from a different lens. Okay. So, then I read it from an integrity place. Now, I want you to listen to it from an impact place. You ready? So First Kings 3:15 through 14. This is God talking to King Solomon. And again, King Solomon was known and is known as the wealthiest man alive. Okay. So, and God said, ask what shall I give you? And this is God talking to Solomon. He's saying, hey, Solomon, what shall I give you? And Solomon said, you have shown great mercy to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in truth, in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with you. You have continued this great kindness for him, and you have given him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day. And he's talking about himself, right? Because he's David's son. Now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king instead of my father David. But I am a little child. I do not know how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people whom you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to be numbered or counted. Therefore, to your servants an understanding heart. Excuse me, I missed a whole word. Therefore, give to your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? The speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing. Then God said to him, because you've asked this thing and have not asked long life for yourself, nor have you asked for riches for yourself, nor have you asked the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern justice, behold, I have done according to your words. See, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there has not been anyone like you before, now shall any like you arise after you. And I have also given you what you have not asked for, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be anyone like you among the kings all your days. So I want you to understand this. God says to Solomon, you give, I will give you anything you want. What do you want? And Solomon says, please give me a discerning heart so I can make wise decisions for your people. He's focused on impact. He could have asked God for anything. He could have said, I want all the money. I want the biggest house ever. I want. And what's interesting, I do this exercise with my platinum clients, my Breeze Mastery Academy clients, called M plus M, meaning plus money. What meaning will your life have when you make the money you're going to make? That's impact. So it's not about cars and houses. Yes, you need those things because God knows you need to live and breathe and have your being, but that shouldn't be your focus. Shouldn't. It's about impact. And as I was writing out this outline and I was sitting with as I do every Monday, what came up for me is the biggest impact someone's ever had in my life, which was my summer camp counselor. I was 12 years old, attending the YMCA as I did every summer. And Cheryl, not gonna say her last name, was our summer camp counselor that year. Cheryl took me in and we'd hang out on the weekends, we go to movies, but the biggest impact she made was I saw Cheryl studying to go to law school. Now, I'm from South Central Los Angeles. I had never met anybody that had gone to college, let alone studying to go to graduate school. That seed shell planted in me that summer. I knew I was going to college. Matter of fact, I used to tell people I wanted to be a lawyer until I realized what all that meant. But the point I'm making is this: she was having an impact just by being around me, just by pouring into me. And I wonder if you realize when you do the thing God crafted and created you to do, the number of people that you're impacting just by being you. So, in this episode, I want to walk you through the three things or the three shifts that happen when you focus on impact over income. The three shifts that happen not just in your business, but in your life when you focus on impact over income. Okay, you ready? Again, if you have questions, by all means, ask them. Okay. Number one, when you shift and focus on impact over income, you understand your why. It really gives you, I should say, it gives you clear focus because you're focused on your why, not on the business you see everybody else doing. And I've said this in another episode, and I see so many people do this, and you'll hear me say this over and over again, that people do things in their business because they see other people doing it. And if it's not attached to your why, you have no business doing it. If it's not attached to your purpose, you have no business doing it. If it's not the lane that God created you to dwell in and it's not in alignment with the people that need you, then why are you doing it? The other thing I hear so many people doing is accepting any client. Now, when you accept, if I can get the word out, any client, you're focused on income. And all money ain't good money. All money ain't, and I meant to say ain't, good money. Why am I saying that? Because when you're accepting a client that is not in alignment with your why, listen, I will tell you there's been days, and I've done this because I was so focused on income, like, ooh, look how much she can pay me. Instead of me saying, you know what, you're not a good fit for me. And when the person's not a good fit to work with you, number one, it's uncomfortable and it doesn't feel good to you. It probably doesn't feel good to them either. But ultimately, you're not able to help them create the gain. You're meant to help as a coach or a consultant. Okay. So here's the other thing I know about understanding your why. When you understand your why, you love what you do. And when you love your work, you want to do more of it. That increases your influence, your impact. Right? So Brenda says, absolutely. I learned that the hard way. Right. Right. Because all money isn't good money. Again, that's focused on income. Impact is really looking at how can I make change for this person? How can I shift, depending on what you do, whether it's their business, their life, their family, what have you. See, when you do the thing you are crafted and created to do, you're able to shift atmospheres. But in order to do this, you've got to let go of expectations. You've got to let go of what everybody else says you should do or be. And I remember it came a time in my own life. Those of you that haven't heard my story, I'm going to tell a quick version of it. When I worked in the entertainment industry and I loved every minute of it, but I felt like something was missing. But I didn't realize as God was expanding my impact, He was expanding my territory. And every time I talked to one of my friends about it, they said to me, Nicole, are you crazy? How do you feel like something is missing when you have the job you dreamed of since you were little? And I worked on all the high Hollywood shows. I went to all the high Hollywood parties. I was bumping elbows with stars, and people knew me on first name basis. I can go on and on. I was living the dream. So all my friends kept saying, are you crazy? That was expectation. My undergraduate degrees, TV and film. I spent years growing my career in that arena, but yet I felt God stirring up my soul. And for many of you, you're in that place. Do you focus on what everybody else thinks? Do you focus on what everybody else says? Do you focus on the shoulds? As I've heard someone say before, are you shoulding on yourself? And who wrote your shoulds anyway? When if it's not in alignment with what you feel is stirring up in your soul, right? There's a Bible verse that says, stir up the gift. What I realized God was doing for me in that moment when I shifted, God was stirring up my gift. Now the thing that's interesting is I still use the tools I learned in entertainment. I'm still producing and casting. I do that in my business now. Right? But you've got to understand when you focus on everybody else's expectation of you, instead of getting clear and understanding your why. See, it's that why that would give you focus and direction. So then you could say, that's not in alignment with my why. I shouldn't be doing that. That's not in alignment with my ideal client. Yeah, I'm not. There are opportunities that I've turned down because it hasn't been in alignment with my why. So you've got to get clear to set direction. Okay. So that's number one. Okay. And again, that's impact over income. Number two, it expands your influence. When you're focused on impact, listen, I really want you to get this. Think about it like this. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs passed away however many years ago, but his impact is still resonating with us because listen, I got an iWatch, I got an iPhone, I got a MacBook I'm talking through right now. That's impact, y'all. That's influence that's affecting other people. Does revenue come with it? Yes. But it expands your influence when you are making the impact you were meant to have, right? So listen, you got to think about the value you bring to somebody else's life or business when you do what you do. And what happens when you do that, and here's the expansion of your influence, is people will recommend you. You won't have to listen. There's a Bible verse that talks about your gift will make room for you. This is your gift making room for you at its best. The number of recommendations that I get from past clients because they've gotten impact, they've gotten results. So, what happens is you become a word of mouth great person to hire. Not saying you don't have to do marketing because you should do that too. But when you make an impact, it expands. It expands into your ideal client, into your network. Y'all get that? The other thing you have to understand when you look about expanding your influence, and I talk to my Brains Mastery Academy clients about this all the time, is listen, people connect to your stories. The reason you often hear me tell stories is people want to connect heart to heart, soul to soul. They don't want to read your resume. They want to know who are you. And when you're able to tell your story in a way that shows people that I'm with you, I have been there, I'm right in the same journey you're in, it makes a difference in influencing how you're resonating with their soul because they're able to see you. You know, last week at the Democratic National Convention and Kamala Harris, and she did her speech, and everybody said people need to understand who she is because people want to connect with you, who you are. Beyond your resume, beyond your bio, beyond the places you've worked and all the experience you had, you are underneath all of that. Your stories connect people to who you are, which also connects you or and them to your why, and that expands your influence. Mhm. Number three, it brings more money. Again, when you're increasing, my foundational Bible verse is Genesis 1:28 that says, "Be fruitful and multiply." Listen, and have dominion is a long story short. So those are the three things I always teach: fruitful, multiply, dominion. Here's what you have to understand. God gave you a gift for you to have dominion in a specific arena. And some of you guys have been around me and heard me talk about this. It's that arena that you're meant to have impact in. When you begin to have impact, you begin to be fruitful. When you're fruitful and you're producing good results, that's what fruitful means. God wants to expand it. That's where the increase comes. That's where multiply comes. And so many people focus on the wrong thing in their business. How can I make more money? Instead of how can I have more impact, which will ultimately increase your revenue. So wonder where you are in your journey in entrepreneurship and how you might need to make a needle point shift in your perspective and how you're looking at what you're doing and how you're focused on income and you need to be focused on impact. Listen, when you die and get to meet God face to face, He's not going to care how much money you made. Not. He's going to care about the impact you had in this world. He's going to care about if you did the thing He created and crafted you to do. He's going to care about the return on His investment in you. Because ultimately, God planted the seed. It's up to us to water it and grow it. So as you begin to look at your own business and make the shift, and let me tell you these three again. So these are the three shifts you need to make. It gives you clear focus, or really understanding your why gives you clear focus. If you don't understand your why, then I want to encourage you to sit with that. That's your homework to understand your why, understand your purpose, understand why you're here, and what work is connected to that. Second, expand your influence. So the shift that happens here is when you're doing the thing you are crafted and created to do, you don't have to speak up. People speak up for you. There are times I go places and people are like, "Oh, I've been following you for years." And I'm not saying it in a bragging kind of way. I'm always amazed because I don't do the things that I do to look to expand how many people know me. I'm doing it in obedience to what I know I'm called to do, my why. And then people connect heart to heart, soul to soul. Listen, people want to know, like, and trust you. When they feel that they can know, like, and trust you, they're going to connect to you. That expands your influence. When they feel a fakerization, something fake about you, they're not connecting with you. They out there, so out. And people can feel when you're being fake. They can. The third thing is it increases your money. You make more money. It increases your revenue automatically. So focus on impact automatically brings you more income. I said this at the beginning. I'm gonna say it now. Listen, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. God's gonna give you the money to be able to do the thing, but you got to be willing to do the work first. There are times I hear people saying, "Well, I'm gonna pray about it. I'm gonna pray about it. I'm gonna wait and pray about it." And I remember a woman was on one of these lives, and I was having an event at the time, and she told me she was praying about it and about whether she should come or not to buy the ticket to come. And I was bothered by that. And I thought, how can I be bothered by the fact that somebody wants to pray about something? So I prayed about it. And what God said to me is, she's waiting on me and I am waiting on her. He's waiting for you to say yes and start to do the work of the impact, which means oftentimes you've got to make a bold step, a radical bold step. I remember when I hired my first coach at a time when my business was absolutely failing. Those of you that heard my story, 13,000 was the most I made, and that coach cost 30,000. I was focused on impact. I figured it out. I didn't know how. I was like, okay, every month I'm gonna figure out month to month, I'm gonna pay this bill. But I was focused on when I learn how to do my business the right way, the strategy that I need in my business, the number of people that I will be able to influence, to teach, to help, because I'm doing it this way, because I'm doing it the right way, right? And that is what makes a difference for you. Is when you shift your focus. So that's number 9, y'all. Choosing impact over income. Not saying you won't ever make income, because you will. Listen, God never intended for us to be broke. I said this on our last, I think it was our last one, that broke ain't biblical. So I'm not saying you need to be broke. I'm not saying that. But I am saying the love of money is the root of all evil. But the use of money is how God brings his kingdom forth in this world. So where are you in this journey? Where are you as at your focus? Are you focused on income? Are you focused on impact? This is my invitation to you to make the shifts that you need so that you can live out the purpose God created for you in this world. All right. So next week is Labor Day. So number 10 will not be next week, by the way, y'all. So I'll skip a week. I'll be back on Monday, September 9th with our final number 10 in this series. So you got a couple weeks to catch up if you haven't had a chance to, right? So again, let me put this banner up. If you came in late and you didn't see the banner, so you can catch up on those of you that haven't been here, all 9 of our episodes. You have an opportunity to catch up as I'll come back on Monday, September 9th to finish out. All right. So, with that, I want to hear, what is the number one takeaway you've gotten from this episode? And what are you committed to doing to shift your focus from income to making the impact God created you to be and do in this world? I'll see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.